Are we up?
Oh, baby, we're up. Hello, all you beautiful SketchUp party people across the entire SketchUp universe. We're live on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, wherever you're watching from, whatever platform, whatever country. Let us know in the chat. Wow, we got a great stream for you today. Holy cow, it's going to be Tyson. You see him here. You saw the laser cutting on the intro. He's going to be taking a cathedral window from St. Patrick's Cathedral in none other than New York City, New York State, and he's going to be modeling it live and then bringing it to laser cutter. You're going to see some live laser cutting on this stream, folks. And, we're not wasting any more time. We're getting into it. So without further ado, please welcome your host for the day, Mr. Tyson Karchner.
Thank you, Matt. Bringing the energy.
Tyson.
Bringing the energy on a Friday afternoon. Hey, all. So fun. I think we've got something pretty fun, pretty interesting today. We're going to see how it goes. Matt and I, we're trying to push the envelope and break something, so we will find out. Always good time to be here with you, Matt, and with everybody coming in. I've seen some of the chat coming in. Norway, India, Mexico. That's amazing. Thank you all so much for joining us. We love having you with us.
Yeah, welcome.
I'm going to be jumping today between screens a little more than usual. So I think right now I should be kind of big head talking. And then I think right now I should be little head. And I'm going to jump back and forth a little bit and then jumping to some other screens as well. So hopefully it will all work out fine. Let me come back to...
But I'm excited at the same time.
Nice. All right. Hopefully y'all can see this. Okay. This is a little bit of the pre-homework that we've done in preparation for making this stream, like getting to across the finish line. I'm guilty a lot of times of not getting across the finish line, so we had to start from a place. We're not going to be modeling exactly the cathedral window, but that's, we're going to be doing something close that we can transfer into laser cutting, and then we'll insert it here in our model.
Beautiful.
So that's the idea. This was a little test I did, so we're going to try to get something like this. This one's too big, but anyway, that's where we're headed.
Ooh, cool. I love to see some 3D into real world happening on SketchUp Live today. Normally it's all just digital, it's all edges and faces, but bringing it into the real world today, that's exciting.
It is. And I want to jump right into this idea of how we actually go to the laser cutter. Now, I want a disclaimer. I'm going to be showing a Glowforge laser cutter in this example. At our office, we have an epilogue which an even bigger and more powerful one. And we're going to be showing that one in future live streams. So this is not necessarily about the brand of laser. It's just a workflow. But here's part of what we're going to be doing. So I drew up some of this beforehand, right? You saw, woohoo! And to show a quick example of how actually we send this file to a laser cutter, this isn't the only way, but this is just one preference I have. I'm copying this outer and this circle edges because I want to put in the back of my little model here kind of a cardstock that light can shine through. I think will create an interesting effect. So I'm going to cut out this simple shape. Now, obviously, we all understand you could draw simple shapes, and I'm just going to use this one. A couple things I'm going to do really quick. I'm going to shrink it in just a little bit so it fits in my model. Something like that. And this one, I'm going to expand. And that should do it. That's all we need. One other thing, when you're sending it to a laser cutter, you may want to weld. You would see that this would normally be an arc, this would be an arc, this would be a straight line. I've welded these edges together. That, in my experience, tends to help the sort of interpolation of the laser. I'm going to delete that surface. Okay. That's not necessary because we could do that with the style. But so let me go up here, and I'm just going to save a scene so we can send this to layout. Now, sending it to layout is my preference for this workflow. There are other ways we could just export this out as a DXF or other formats. Some lasers would take that directly, or we convert it in something like Illustrator or Inkscape. But let me save this camera location. Oops. I know better than to do that with scenes. I need to create a new scene. And save this camera location.
I love getting layout involved, you know?
Yeah.
It's there, so definitely use it because there's a lot of different ways layout can get involved in your workflow, especially when it's fabrication or anything that involves documentation or in this case, of course, cutting with lasers.
Okay, get that one queued up, Matt. We need that sound effect all day long.
It's on the hotkey.
Oh, that's great. So I have this set up, so I want a 1-to-1 scale. So I want this full size. And this is important. I need to render this as a vector. Now, if you've listened to us talk about layout, we usually say vector, you don't necessarily need it. But in this case, we need the vector. And I'm going to turn off background. And so there we go. Now, when you're working with stuff like this, sometimes you'll need to overlay, sometimes you'll need to line things up. In this case, this easily fits within an 8.5 by 11 sheet. I don't have to worry that much about how it fits. So I'm just going to take this and export it as a PDF. But again, I turned that vector rendering on first. So this PDF will be a vector PDF.
Right, nice. Because PDFs could have vectors or rasters. Cool.
Yeah.
We had one comment about audio. It looked like my audio is a little low. I don't know. Is there any way in OBS you can bring it up a little bit, or is it okay?
We're kind of maxed out. Shoot.
All good. I can try to project to the back of the room. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Curious. Let's see here. I am going to go here. Now, again, we're going to show kind of the Glowforge interface. I do want to just suggest Glowforge cuts different layers based on colors, and we're going to see that later on. But we can also take this and change different line scales or line widths as you draw. And that's something that would translate, for example, to the epilogue. So again, there are different ways to go to different lasers. So I'm going to upload that file that we just created. Okay, so I took my SketchUp model, sent it to layout, vectorized it, exported it as a PDF, and then I'm bringing that PDF here into, for Glowforge, it just happens to be a web app.
Okay, cool. Now, is there any like limit? I know you said you did a 1-to-1 scale. Do you have like a limit to how big you can print on your particular, or not print, cut on your particular laser cutter?
Oh, absolutely. This particular one is something, not exactly, but it's something like 11 by 18 inch cutting capacity,
Okay.
which is nice because you could put 11 by 17, a tabloid sheet in here. We're just going to be putting 8.5 by 11 letter size stuff in here.
Okay, cool. And you just chose that because it was like manageable with the material you had, or that was just the right size for the thing, or how did you choose how big to make it?
I did. I chose it because actually, if we go back here, when I built this originally, I kind of built this as like, the size of this, if you look, this is an 8.5, this outline, 8.5 by 11 sheet. So I built it kind of knowing that I could get a lot of it on just a couple sheets by arranging them this way.
Oh, cool.
So it was kind of made to be reasonable for that size paper. Yeah.
Perfect. Cool.
This part, I just have to set the settings, and I've got several of these saved. I could just go manual and say, I need a speed of around 300 and I need a power of around 45. You dial that in based on whatever you're cutting. I don't remember. That's why this is always nice. So I've got 8.5 cardstock. That should do it because that's what I've got on my page there. So I'm just going to print.
Cool.
All right, let
Magic
me
time.
go hit the button and we're going to watch this go. So
Oh, the lasers are firing up. Watch out, everybody. It's laser time. You see Tyson in the background there, so he's off mic for a little bit, but yeah. Oh, this is cool. Yeah, let us know in the chat if you guys like this kind of thing, because we, normally we just stay in the digital world, but of course we're always looking to do cool stuff, and whatever cool stuff you guys are looking to see, of course, too. So, wow, that's going pretty quick. Yeah, let us know. That's really cool. And I like how you can also do different materials too. He's doing the wood for the actual frame of it, and then the cardstock for this kind of insert piece. It's pretty cool. There's so much you can do when you have lasers involved. Don't worry, I have more sounds than just the lasers.
No problem.
And Tyson, when you get back to, Aaron was heckling from the crowd, saying how you're not gonna do the entire cathedral. Normally, you have great expectations, high hopes of doing, tackling a big subject, but sometimes you got to make sure it can fit in 2 hours.
Well, I mean, I appreciate Aaron heckling me in that way because that's an easy. I mean, Aaron, you tackled the whole cathedral, right? You got
Shots fired! Shots fired!
shots fired.
Brutal.
So this has a little bit of tacky because I use a little bit of spray adhesive. So I've just set this on here. Actually, it fits beautifully. There we go. We're going to come back. I hope we'll have time. No, Aaron, I'm sorry, buddy. We won't get the whole cathedral, but we're gonna try to come back and do a little more on this. But we're gonna focus on the window right now. I just wanted to do like a quick run through of the 2 laser workflow, and and then we're gonna do that a couple more times. So that's fun. We're gonna come back and keep working on it.
I love it. We did have one question from YouTube. Martin asks, how do you get the final curves not to appear as facets when exported to vector?
That's an excellent question because, we all know that SketchUp arcs and circles render as segments, as facets, as you say. Mm-hmm. You don't. So I turn up the segment count. You're going to see me play with the arc and circle segment count a lot to kind of control that I have very smooth curves, even though they are technically segments. If there's somebody in the chat that can answer this, actually, Matt and I were chatting about there's some method if you export from SketchUp as I think a 3D DWG or DXF or something, it will translate into true curves. I don't use that workflow, so I don't remember what it is, but there is some method there. What I'm going to do is just control the segment count so that I don't have to worry about, if you can see this circle, I mean, I know you can't see it very well. This is 120 segments. I can't possibly tell that it's not, a true circle.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Yeah, good to know. Like probably depending on the size, you would adjust your segment count or something.
Yeah.
And trusty Colin chimed in the chat. So thanks, Colin. When you export 3D DXF and turn off faces, then you get true curves.
Thank you, Colin.
And also a question from Transom here too about what kind of spray adhesive and what is the backing that you used?
A great question. So when you're cutting with the laser, if you have never cut with a laser, part of what it does is it has a fan running, and I actually have 2 fans running to pull out the smoke. You'll see as we cut, and we're actually going to start it on fire.
Ooh.
But that's quickly pulled away. But that air, if your material is paper or something, it throws it all over the place. So I use a simple 1/8 or 1/4 inch MDF sheet that fits in there that you saw. And then for spray, there's a spray, at least here in the States, called Super 77 that's useful for adhering a lot of stuff. That to me is a little strong because I just want it just a little tacky. So this is general purpose 45, and I've found that this works really well. You just put a really light coat on it, and things stick down, but also peel up really easy. So that's what I'm using. I'm sure there's other options.
Nice.
Top notch.
So what we want to do is we're going to build out this this circle, and so this is the one we just cut out. I'm going to inset this just a hair so it'll fit inside. And then I'm going to select this and make it a component. And that's the actual size we'll cut at, but I have imported this image of the cathedral window, and then we're going to use this as our basis. So I'm going to copy that component over here and just scale it way up so that any changes we make to this will be affected. So,
Beauty of working with components.
love them. Can't live without them.
Me talking about components. Or you. Anybody, for that matter.
Yeah, it's so true. I'm trying to lock this group so I won't, so I can turn on this X-ray mode and draw through here. I'm gonna move this. Let's see if I can. You know what? That because I welded these curves, I'm gonna redraw this. It's not so that I can talk about what I did before, where I was saying like, segment count. I welded this curve, so I'm going to draw a circle. I'm going to turn my segments up to, I think I said 120, and that would be fine. I could go higher, but 120 is nice. It's easily divisible by, as we get smaller, we make a 61, we make a whatever. I happen to know, as we'll see on that window, I think we're working with 12 segments. So again, just nicely, depending on what you're drawing.
Yeah, it makes the math easy.
Makes the math easy. All right, this we're gonna make into a window component. And yep, we don't need that last one. So let's make a copy, bring it up here, and scale it really big.
We had a question from Lawrence on YouTube asking, did you scale or stretch the image to correct for parallax in the photo? It looks like it's kind of straight on. I know you're just using it to trace, but is there any kind of corrections you did to the image file to make it more, orthogonal? Or not orthogonal, but whatever you call it.
That's a good question. I did not. I didn't make any adjustments. I think you can see that because we can see a little more of this side than this one. I suspect this was taken back and zoomed in, which would eliminate some of the, but yeah, I did not. Again, because we're interpreting this for other purposes. You'll see I'm not going to get all of this detail. I'm going to get enough detail for our laser cutting purposes. So we're just using this as sort of a reference for that. It's a good question.
Yeah.
I didn't make any adjustments.
Yeah, it's all good. You got creative license to do whatever you want here on SketchUp Live. So
yeah,
no judgment from me.
Okay. So I'm kind of just getting this the way I'm thinking about this is I want to create a size that will actually set inside this circle, but then I want kind of maybe something behind it that'll be larger and work against this back. I don't know if that makes sense, but hopefully it will over as we progress.
What does that mean?
Yeah, exactly. So I'm going to offset this a little bit and okay, let's start working. All right, so as we look at this and are like, okay, we've got this shape that's repeated, so we're obviously going to take advantage of that. It's also mirrored, so we are going to simply, break this down into we could break it down into something like this, but we can break it down even farther into half of that. So not 75, not 45. It's funny. I know everybody out there screaming. It's like, well, the angle is simply this. I know I should know. I don't. that's because I'm so used to not having to know, because SketchUp will tell me. Because I can draw
Yeah,
like
definitely.
a polygon or something.
Have the software work for you. You don't want to be, doing everything on your own.
I have to be careful though. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. See, I did 12. That's too many. I need 8. Oops. 8 sides. That should do it. Right? I think. We'll find out.
Yeah. Looks right. People in the chat are saying 22 and a half. I think you got there.
Oh, okay. 22 and a half. I should know that. Thank you, though. All right, so I'm going to take this wedge and let's make it a component. We'll call it 22.5 for everybody who is better on their angles. Oh, it did not, though, because it was joined with other geometry. I went through that too fast. So it didn't create one out of my geometry. That's okay. There we go. Okay, nice. Too much talking. Let's get drawing.
Yeah, let's get to work.
Work.
I'm gonna make this one 60 sides just because it's smaller.
I always love the workflows with this kind of like repeating, radially arrayed geometry, because it's like you can add so much complexity and intricacy so easily, and then it's so nice to see it duplicated across. Like, you don't have to draw it all by yourself. It just kind of magically fills in.
I totally agree. That's why this kind of project is fun, because yeah, like it's not a whole lot of work to get this much, but then it ends up being so much down the road. I tell you what, for me personally, way back in the day when SketchUp was pretty new, push-pull was fairly novel at the time, just drawing shapes, pulling them up. And that's like so understood at this point. But I've never kind of lost the magic that just doing this sort of thing where you get a component, you add all the details, and then you get that huge rewarding moment when you array it. That's still kind of magical. I like that.
Yeah, oh, totally. We had a question in the chat from Paul on YouTube who was asking about, would laser cutting allow the flexibility to have the different depths of relief on the stonework?
No. If I understand what you're suggesting, as in this is actual there's bevels in here, and we can't do that. What we will do is just flat layers. So we are going to get more depth by creating some layers, but we can't emulate the actual bevels that we see like this. So yes, ish. Ish.
Yeah, cool. I mean, it's good to know what you're working with and what the hardware can provide. And it's nice that you obviously you can still add the illusion of that complexity and the depth and stuff by doing multiple passes.
Yeah. Yeah, we were chatting about that earlier, and like, it would, if we at some point take something like this to a CNC where we can cut out and then switch bits to, a 60 or a 30 or a 45 chamfer bit, and then we add something like that. So possibly something to consider for future fun.
Oh, you're saying there's going to be a CNC stream next week?
Who's up next week?
I believe it's Aaron.
Oh, yep, there absolutely is. That's he was gonna one up me on this. He was like, but you can't bevel this. You need to do it. And I said, I'll leave that for you. Let you take all the glory.
That's right. Yeah, tune in next week. Aaron will do the entire cathedral and have all the intricacies and the design craftsmanship of the real cathedral for sure.
Yep. Next week.
Harland on Facebook says, I use SketchUp for DXF 2D drawings for a CNC plasma table over the bundled proprietary software. Oh, that's cool to hear.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Be curious where you find that it works better for you. I love this workflow. All right, let's see here. Yeah, as you can see, I'm sort of, not getting exactly quite the details, but trying to get close-ish.
Yeah, is there any kind of guidelines you use on like what kind of details to include, or what's too small that would like show up in the laser? Is anything with the resolution of it or something that would make you make certain decisions on what to trace and what not to?
That's a fantastic question or observation, and
thank you.
I make the mistake frequently of coming in and being like, oh, I just want to get lost in the details, and there's this little thing here, so I'll make that little cutout, and I'll make this little cutout, and I forget that the size of this is gonna end up being like 1 or 2 millimeters thick. Like, so yeah, you gotta be like, kind of say, don't get too lost in the details, because that, laser's awesome. It can cut very, very fine detail, but be reasonable. So I'm trying to do just that, not get completely lost in the details.
It reminds me of like carving a jack-o'-lantern around Halloween time. You see all these super complex, like crazy designs that people do online, and then it's like, how's that little bit of gourd gonna hold together, especially like for longer than half an hour?
I am going to, just to see if we can get it, try to get this, and it spans our, the wall, the boundary of our. So I'm going to draw this over to this side, then bring it back in and have it incorporated. So I'll draw a circle that's roughly the same size-ish. And I probably don't need a full 60 segments. This one's so small, I could bring this down to 24 or 48 or 36, something like that. And then it's just got a couple circles inside it. So, you know what though? I drew this based on this angle, and I could keep working on that. I'm just going to draw another one that's roughly the same size, 24 sides. So that I have this point, and this I'm just, guessing. So I got that one. And then copy that to... looks like I need to have it be a little bit larger. So let me group this.
Hi, Stephen on LinkedIn. Thanks for tuning in. We also had a question from Lawrence on YouTube about, is there any time where you like, I know you said you're kind of like eyeballing this kind of thing and, you know, knowing how big it's going to be in the final. Is there any time when you go back to the original, like the smaller version of this component and measure it to say, okay, well, this is going to be sub-millimeter, like it's not worth doing the details for? Is it more just like trial and error and you know, you kind of have a general idea of how big it is?
I think the truth is I do a lot of the laser stuff I do. It's just kind of for fun. So it's not that crucial to dial in. But
I guess if you wanted to be exact, if you had a specific, you know, smallest detail that you couldn't go below, then you could just go back to the original and measure it, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. So we're up here working on our big version down here. If we say, how big are these? Yeah, roughly a 1/16 of an inch. So yeah, and that should translate pretty well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe a good sanity check, but you're experienced in the laser cutting game, so you know how big to make stuff.
Well, no, actually, what I would suggest doing is if you're doing this and you need to, you know, jump back and forth, then come up here and let's just create 2 working scenes. So camera location, I don't need to worry about anything else. I'm going to save a new scene. And this is large, and then you come down so that we can get a sense of reality, and somewhere down here we'll save another one. One-to-one or real scale or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Then we can jump back and forth doing some testing.
Nice.
I think this one is about ready to go, so I'm gonna explode this and merge these together.
Spencer over on LinkedIn is saying, what's up?
Hey, thanks for joining us.
And Randy has a question here about if you ever run into this in the past, that have you done a detail that's so small that it just kind of, like, what happens when you laser cut it? Does it just kind of, he says, does it just look like mush?
I have done stuff that's so small that when you're lasering too close next to each other, you create kind of ash. Especially if you're cutting paper and stuff like this, which we're doing. So, yeah, totally had that happen.
It's all about trial and error. You know, that's how you get better.
Now, if I had been referencing this a little more, this didn't turn out quite the way I hoped it would. But again, on the scale of what we're doing, we'll just, rather than fix it, we'll just keep moving. I am going
whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
Fabiola on YouTube had a question about door opening. This might be a better question asked on the forum. So if you go to forums.sketchup.com and ask the question in there, people can help you out with more like specific questions like that.
Okay, I think this one is clean that up. Sometimes this is where it's nice if you have your keyboard shortcut set to hide rest of model. So we can come in here and kind of see what we're doing, but this looks like if we delete this stuff out, that probably like this little piece here.
Mm-hmm.
I might, that's going to be, so small, $0.5 mil. It'll probably work, but and it depends. If I knew I was cutting this out and then backing it up with something else, then maybe I'd let it go. But if this was supposed to stand on its own, then that stuff would quickly get torn or deteriorated or something. So, it depends on what you're doing too. But I might come in here and it kind of messes with what we were doing, but let's do this anyway, where we'll widen that out just a little bit by offsetting.
Respect the strength of the laser.
Yeah. So the last thing that we should do here is in the image, it has, this detail here. I don't think we're going to do that. We'd have to build a separate, because the way that we could sort of do it, this is in eighths. We could do this the similar way. But this, again, like if you look at how small this is and how small we're working at, it's just not going to show. So I'm just going to let this be a circle and kind of something like this. I do need to check. Let's 22.5. And I think now we can duplicate this around. So let's flip this based on that center point. And then let's array it. Let's see, do we still have our center? We do. Now we know the number, but also just do that.
We don't need to know it.
We don't need to know it. Boom.
Look at that. Bada bing, bada boom.
This kind of looks like a gear. I'm going to dial that back just so that
I was thinking the Empire from Star Wars.
Oh. Aha!
It's a Death Star window.
Then I'm appropriately... It does. Oh, now it looks even...
Somebody
all
earlier
right,
did
we'll
mention
leave it.
that it looked like a Death Star, so...
Awesome.
That looks great.
Okay. Now here's where we get into, this is already small enough details, but we were talking about trying to create a layered effect. So let me grab one of these. Or actually,
it looks like a snowflake.
Yeah.
Snowflakes were like a influence on the Gothic architects of the time, or if it
Oh,
just
wouldn't
happens to
that
be
be
the
interesting?
kind of fractalized, really cool
Yeah,
thing.
that would be interesting to know. So, what are we going to do with this?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. That's why I asked. Matt, what are we doing? What are we doing here?
Chat, what do we do? Where do we go?
All right. I want to create a little bit of an inset. And oh, you know what? Before I do that, let me come in and I'm going to weld these. So I've got my keyboard shortcut. So now if we look at these, and I'm going to do that. Hopefully that will make, will offset this just a little bit. I'm looking down here. Again, we're at our big scale. Maybe 1.5, maybe 2. Let's try 1.5. So if we do that, and then trying to create just some overlapping shapes that we can use. Now we've created a kind of mess, but hopefully we'll clean it up into something usable. So if we have that, this one, we will just something like this. Yeah, so I sort of just trying to figure out where some good places to be, where to create a little bit of relief, little bit of detail. That's what we're doing here. So this piece should be, we'll cut this one off down here. Oops. And then this one, now this will work, but when you have such a tiny little, I'm just gonna, cut this one over, do a few little things like that. That should be okay. But this piece should be what we need. So I'm gonna copy that and delete everything and then paste in place. And ooh. So that should be, and I should have copied this over an exact distance so that I would not have to do this, but
Inferencing to the rescue.
yeah. All right, so I think that's what we need to cut our window.
Stunning success.
Yeah, yeah, we'll see. Okay, so I'm going to really quick make sure that I've got these aligned. So
Lenny on YouTube with a reminder to
Save.
thanks, Lenny. Done.
done and done.
So if I move this, perfect. So I mentioned earlier that if we tell the Glowforge, if we tell it different colors, then it can cut different strengths and different things like that. In this case, what we have, I don't think we'll need to do that. But this will be, we do have to consider something like, okay, if I cut this out as two different shapes, and then I have to go in and glue or adhere or fix every one of these pieces in the correct position. Oh, wow. I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
I do not want to do that. So I'm trying to think ahead and say, is there a way that we can plan for this? And I do have a plan. So what I want to do is, this is let me create a little bit of a graveyard here, because just in case we need it, I'm going to explode all these shapes so that we'll have, in theory, we could do something like hiding edges,
Okay.
or erasing, but I would prefer to just merge all of this when I'm going to send it to the laser cutter. So I'm going to do that. So I'm going to take all of this and ungroup it, and so it's all merged together, and then do just a little bit of cleanup. And some of you out there will probably be noticing that if I erase just a few lines correctly, I should be able to select this surface and copy it. So I don't have to erase everything if I get enough.
As long as it's connected somewhere.
Connected somewhere. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That might be it. Am I missing? I'm doing a quick preview. And if once I get to this point, I may be able to use like TomTom's cleanup. Again, if I erase enough of these pieces, that it will do some of the work for me. I don't think I have enough yet, but let's just see what happens.
Let's do it. Let's give it a shot.
Let's clean it. Hey, it worked. Perfect.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
Thank you, TomTom. So it got rid of a lot of those stray edges, preserving the surface. So that's nice. So that's one shape that we're ready to cut. And we need to do the same thing over here with this one. So I'll get rid of you. And I'm going to explode you. And thankfully this one we can just group. And that should do. So I'm going to come in. I said earlier, like we have all of these different lines. I'm going to select everything here and weld.
Mm-hmm.
And that should, in my experience, when I send it to something like a laser, if these were broken up segments, that might translate to how it cuts it. And then it's less efficient. And you risk like having some little tiny pieces that don't get cut through, because it'll cut part of the line, then run across the thing to another piece and then somewhere else. Whereas this one, it should cut this out as a whole segment. All right. Now I lost. Before I bring these together, I'm going to come in and I'm going to paint these. Let's just paint them some nice, bright, different colors. Paint this one something red, and I'll paint this other one a nice cyan blue. And what I want to do is use a style that will highlight that, because right now the edges are still both black. So I've got a style in here saved where it's just the edges. And if you've done this, what you know that if I jump back here, what I'm doing is simply going in and saying color the edges, because I'm editing the edges, by material. And then I'm choosing a style that turns off. And then that would be something like that. All right.
Nice. That's all it takes.
And then I can just set them directly on top of each other. Again, let me draw a little reference here because oh, and I should have done this. I want to make sure I've welded these edges too.
Oh yeah.
So over here, I'll do that whole little thing again. So I've got a reference. Perfect. Okay. And this one, oops. Trying to edit this and get rid of.
I feel like I'm quiet over here, but
I was just admiring it.
I was just like hypnotized by the design. It's like putting me in a trance.
Oh, that's so fun. Let's see how it works. We're ready to test this. Okay. So where's my scenes? I need to save a scene so I can send this to layout. I'm going to save camera location and style, which just saved it to this one. Because again, I should have created the scene first. I know this. Create the scene, then update the parameters.
As an audience member, I would find that insulting.
Doesn't really make sense. I couldn't figure out a good place to use that drop, so hey, it's just going in there.
Hey, somebody should be insulted somewhere. Okay.
So,
all right. I think, yeah. I think we're ready to go to layout. So I got to save my file and send it to layout.
Let's go.
And letter should be just fine. Now, I didn't have to save the style. We can adjust styles in layout. So was just doing that. Let's put it. Oh, you know what? You know what I'm about to do? I was still working on the full size.
Oh, the biggie.
And because I broke this all apart, this does not relate to the component we created. So we're gonna let's go back and fix that. We can fix that. We can fix that.
No problem.
No problem. Yeah, I was gonna laser cut something that was very large. Very large
I did
indeed.
not cause the accident, so I cannot be at fault for anything that subsequently happened.
That one's on you. No, I'm just joking around.
Nice. In case we need to make changes, now I've made this component. All I need to do is come down here and be like, how large is this? This is 4 9/16, or with some change, we could if we might want to be really precise. So I'll turn up my display precision just to be sure. Now let's test this again.
Is there a certain kind of precision or like certain units you have to use for the laser cutter, or it'll just take whatever you send to it?
It just takes whatever you send to it.
Okay.
In the laser software, like it took this at the scale. It brings it in at a 1-to-1 scale that we export at, but I could scale it here too.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to be careful because now I've scaled that to some random. So if this needs to be aligned with other things, now so little
Gotcha.
keeping in mind is a good thing to do.
Yeah, smart.
Matt, 4 37/64. Remember that.
Okay, you got it, chat. I'm leaning on you for this one.
Somebody can say, just switch over to metric and we'll remember it easier. 4 37/64. Boom. Yeah. Now that should be what we need. And here, let me update. Update this scene. So save this again, and we're back to layout.
Nice. And of course, one of the good things about working with layout versus other software is you don't have to re-export it and bring it in. You can just, like you just did, update the SketchUp model reference, and it just shows up.
Good to go. So here's my plan. We want to. These are two separate cut paths that want to cut all the way through the material. But if we look, what I'm going to be cutting at, if we look back here, I'll jump to talking for a second. This is like a chipboard, a kind of really sturdy chipboard, and I've layered it up already in some places. So what I've done is I took two pieces of this chipboard and I again sprayed them with a little bit of this light adhesive, general purpose 45, and then I just stuck them together. So I'm going to take those two pieces that are stuck together, put it on the laser, stick them to my MDF sheet, and then when I cut through one, it should cut all the way through one of these, but it doesn't have enough power to cut through two. But then as long as I don't move anything, then I can come back and say, once that's done, I'll remove that material, leave it exactly as it was on the bed, which again, if I get fiddly, I might mess that up. But then I'll set the next cut and we'll have one on top of the other exactly, and we won't have to do any of this putting stuff on top of the other one after the fact. That's the plan.
Cool. Yeah. How could it go wrong now?
How could it possibly go wrong?
Yeah, we had a question earlier about trying to do a similar kind of thing. Could you do like a registration mark where the laser like knows exactly where to go? Like suppose you did move it. Is there a way to do that, or will you just have to kind of do it over again and have a steady hand?
Yes, there is. So let me talk about that in half a second. I'm just going to export this. Remember to turn this as a vector. And again, the key to this is not the line width, although that might be the case in for other lasers. In this one, it's just the color. So I'm going to export this as a PDF. Now, the Glowforge, other cutters have their own version of this. The Glowforge has something called snap marks. And it's actually a little symbol, and you can draw that. You can just trace that symbol in layout in SketchUp. And as long as that symbol, as long as the laser cutter reads that symbol and it's in the same place for your different files, it can exactly overlay them. I think actually you put two of them, one sort of towards the top and one towards the bottom. I've done that. It works really well. So that would be a way to do this as well. But in this case, I hadn't tried just sticking different pieces of material together. And I thought that would be fun to try. In truth, I hadn't tried it till I did this yesterday. I didn't want to get on here and absolutely wreck it. So I have tried it once.
Hey, it's good to be prepared, you know? We had a question on YouTube from Online Skills 99 about they want to learn more about this type of work. Do you have a personal YouTube channel?
Oh, I do. I don't do a ton of this on it, though I have done a little. My YouTube channel is Geeks Woodshop. I do a lot more woodworking projects on there, but thanks for asking. I do have a video on there actually where I went into kind of like a convoluted method because I'm using layout, and I know a lot of people, especially in the makerspace, use a simpler version, web or free. I showed how to go from a free version over. Maybe I shouldn't be saying that on our official SketchUp. but you know, again, if you can screen cap something, convert it online to a DXF and carry forward, so it's not like I'm saying something that's that out there. But I love layout. Sure. If having layout to do this really is nice. But not everybody.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways to do it, but some, you know, whatever makes it easy and whatever makes sense to you. So
yeah. Okay.
There you go.
I am gonna go load up my double sheet and just a moment.
All right.
Don't mess up.
He's bringing the double sheet today. Love to see it. I love this new experimental stream that we got going here with a secondary camera. It's like a real world version. He's lining it up. Oh, beautiful. Looks great to me.
All right.
I can't really tell what would look wrong, but looks good to me.
All right, so we just put this on here somewhere. I'm every time, again, I don't know different lasers, but I can either tell it a material depth or a really simple way is I just say, hey, here's the focus. And because a laser is so precise, it needs to know the depth at what you're cutting so it hits the material. Some advanced users actually, when you're talking about etching, not necessarily cutting, but etching, some people will actually purposefully defocus the laser because you get kind of a different effect. I haven't played with that, but one of those interesting things out there. Okay, so we've got two paths here. And this one is, I'm going to cut the first one, right? We're going to cut through the first layer. And then ideally, and this one, I'm going to ignore for now. And then we'll reverse this. And I'm going to move this over, let's say over here. Doesn't matter fully where, but okay. So I think that's good to go. I'm going to hit print. The Glowforge sends it back to their servers. They do the processing and they send it back. You have to be online for this to work, but they've gotten faster. So thankfully this is quite fast. Looks like it's going to be a 4-minute print. I apologize. It's going to be loud if I leave my mic on. but we'll jump over to like full screen and then jump back. We'll see. Anyway, let's here we go.
I certainly hope so.
Oh, it's going to be great. Nice. I love it. Oh, I can hear that laser firing up in the background. Yeah, people in the chat mentioning that the backing board looks like a Da Vinci drawing, and that's what I thought the first time I saw it too. It looks like some Vitruvian man or some, some kind of sketch from the old Leonardo da Vinci. So that's cool. Definitely watching the laser cutter go, as I mentioned that the design was hypnotic. The laser going is hypnotic too. Especially when you get a little bit of fire in there. Oh my gosh. Laser plus flame. That's exciting. Yeah, Cyanide on YouTube saying bye-bye Alderaan. The laser on this battle station is fully operational. So I gotta watch out for that one. They're peaceful people, so.
Oh, I know. I'll jump back if people would rather watch the Glowforge, which I totally can appreciate. But yeah, hopefully you can see that going. While that's okay, well, actually, I'm curious because there's a lot of noise going on here. How my audio is, like, if it's just unbearable, and we should just watch the Glowforge. So give us some feedback about how it's going right now. I'd be curious.
Yeah, how's the noise reduction working? Is it operating at full potential, or is there some annoying laser noises coming out in the background? Keggy says it's fine. Well, while we're here, we have a couple minutes. I wanted to greet everybody and say thanks for coming in. We have a couple greetings, as we do on SketchUp Live here today. So
you greet Matt, and I'll jump away.
Right on. Cool. Sounds good. So yeah, no matter where around the world you're coming in from, we want to say hi. Thanks for watching SketchUp Live.
Hi, 你好，欢迎你的到来。
Hallo und herzlich willkommen.
E aí, tudo bem?
How you doing?
Hi, 你好，感谢你的加入。
Kamu nato. Apa kabar? Bonjour.
Grüezi. Grüezi wohl. Herzlich willkommen.
晚上好，我们即将结束运营。
आप कैसे हैं?
Hello, sailor.
Hello.
こんばんは。もうすぐ営業時間は終了です。
Marhaban.
Selamat siang.
Como vai?
¿Qué pasa?
Hey! كيف حالك?
Servus, schön, dass du dabei bist.
Hey, it's the Global SketchUp Show. Hey, everybody, welcome. And thanks for tuning in. If you're just tuning in, of course, you see the laser cutter going here, but Tyson just modeled this in SketchUp, sent it to layout, and then using the Glowforge software, sent it out to get printed. So it's one of these streams. No, this is the first time we've done this, but it's the going from 3D to real life. So hey, that's what it's all about here on SketchUp Live, and you're getting a front row seat to it today. So that's exciting. Jody saying he's a fan of the industrial filter. Yeah, it's definitely got a grungy look, especially that backing plate. Sometimes just seeing the SketchUp background, it's so clean, it's so perfect, just background and lines and faces, that sometimes it's nice to see a little organic, a little burn in. So that's cool. Jody's saying he can smell the wood burning. Like Tyson said, hey, he's got those two fans. Well, kind of like me. I feel like I got two fans over here, so I'm glad you're back to.
Well, Jody should be able to smell them because I am just venting this outside. I've got fans blowing this right outside, so I'm just blowing it out to Jody's backyard up north. So yes, That's correct.
Nice.
Okay, wish me luck. I'll show the Glowforge again in a second. I'm gonna go try and take off that top layer, and then we'll cut the second layer. So hopefully I don't move anything for this to work.
Steady hands. Give a deep breath.
Don't mess up.
A lot of possibilities to mess up here today. So we can all judge Tyson based on how shaky his hands are going. See how many, large Christmas mugs. If you've tuned into the stream before, that he likes to have his big Santa mug. So
Wow, that looks difficult.
steady now. Yeah, and thanks again for tuning in. If you don't typically watch SketchUp Live, or you haven't in the past, we do these every Friday, same time. We've tried multi-streaming to more platforms. So if you are new, welcome. And thanks for tuning in. And we don't do laser cutting every week, but if you like it and are interested in seeing more, let us know for sure, because we can work this into the plan. But yeah, we have a couple different people who get on, and usually it's modeling. Last week, Eric did a rendering stream, which you can catch the replay of on YouTube, and I think the other platforms too. So, and all of our back catalog of live real-time modeling are all on YouTube as well. So yeah, check it out. And it's not just the live streams, of course. We have shorter form learning content on YouTube, and then if you're looking for the real in-depth comprehensive training, it'll be on SketchUp Campus, which is learn.sketchup.com if you're just getting started, or if you have a particular workflow you're interested in. We have a lot of rendering on there. We have a lot of landscape architecture. There's layout courses. There's a bunch of interesting and thorough courses done by Tyson and Eric Sargent from our team. So check that out if you are new to SketchUp or just want to learn something new. Barry saying CNC next week. Hey, your lips to God's ears. I say, let's do it.
So if you saw, I did have one of our little tiny. They're so tiny. Like, some of the, we ended up having just these little strands that are probably half a mil or thinner. So some of it was a little and I was gonna try and take out these little pieces that need to be removed, but we're just gonna cut through the second one in the interest of moving forward. So this time we'll ignore this one, and we will cut with the same settings this guy. So while this one cuts, and again, I need to set the focus. While this one cuts, I'll let it start cutting. Then again, thank you for letting us know. As long as the audio is okay, I want to create something kind of shift gears. Swift.
Okay.
I was swift and shift. Is
swiftly shifting gears.
Thank you all for coming. Okay. We're going to set this one up, and then I'm going to show a different approach for our next cut. We're still going to laser cut some stuff after this. Hopefully this one comes out well. Swifty. Okay, enough of that. Print this.
Print it up. It works pretty quick for having to go all the way to their servers and then process and then come back. So
it does, and I'm glad it's working fast. Honestly, I want to give them credit for upgrading their stuff, but sometimes if it's a busy time, it doesn't always work like this fast. But this is great.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
All right, I'm going to bigify the laser for a moment, and then I'll, just for the interest.
Nice. I like it. Get that visual interest going on. Sometimes it's nice to get that full screen going. I don't know how you guys are watching the stream, but I sometimes just like to go to get that thing full stream, oh, now I'm doing it. I'm doing full Swift screen. I also like this because it's just me talking to you guys. It's like our little intimate corner over here. And plus, without Tyson on the mic.
There's nothing I hate more than getting cut off.
And so I have the mic. And so I can say whatever I want and nobody can stop me. Yeah, Flow Gorge. That's definitely right up Schmidt Creek. Yeah, this is cool. I feel like if I saw this on a live stream, I would just get mesmerized and this would catch my eye. Forget the modeling. Next week, let's just do just cutting the whole time. But this is cool. I bet the people who made the original window were like, oh man, if I only had this or like a CNC to, make all these details, it's only taking 4 minutes versus whatever. I think the whole cathedral, because this is part of the cathedral that Aaron, it's the St. Patrick's Cathedral in New York that Aaron did the facade of on St. Patrick's Day on a couple weeks ago. And I think it took like 30 years for the cathedral to go from initial stone being set to when the spires were all up. So I'm sure this window took a lot of heart and craftsmanship and work, especially all the stained glass. I feel like these kind of windows, which I put this in the description of the stream too, but I don't know if anybody in the chat has a insight into the naming of these kind of windows. I've seen them called rose windows. They're kind of the big centerpiece windows from cathedrals. Rose windows, Catherine windows. I don't know how it gets that name. And then also this was brought up in the original St. Patrick's Cathedral stream where Aaron said this is like a Whitelock window because Luke Whitelock, which is he's one of our SketchUp superhero power users, does a lot of stage and screen design for Hollywood movies that probably you've seen, but he has this style to do these really cool repeating patterns like this. Yeah, beautiful to see.
So because things shifted a little bit, maybe one or two of the details, if need be. So when I peel this up, if it doesn't come up nicely, I might just use the window cutout and cut another version just so that we have that. I do think it's pretty cool to try this layering, and like I say, this version is a little bit larger than the one we're cutting right now, so I think it worked a little better because the details weren't quite so tiny. I guess we'll see how it comes out, and then we'll decide if we cut one more version or keep going, but we'll find out in 30 seconds.
Okay, cool. Yeah. I mean, that's one of the fun things is the experimentation, right? The trying new things and different workflows and seeing how you can make stuff. It's all part of the fun.
Mm-hmm. All right, we're about done here. And then, just as a teaser, some of you, if you follow the YouTube other SketchUp channels out there, there's one called Tutorials Up, and he's done some stuff with this Voronoi patterns. We're going to do something with this in a second. So let's go see what we've got here.
Cool. We had a question on YouTube. Are you just modeling the windows or the whole cathedral? It'll be just the window today, and then Tyson is laser cutting it. Before the stream offline, he had made kind of a little diorama section of the cathedral that he's going to plug this window into, just to give it a little context. But yeah, not the whole cathedral today. Although our stream from a couple weeks ago was not laser cut, but just kind of the facade of the cathedral that this window comes from. So look back on our YouTube archives if you're interested in seeing how we tackled the facade of that St. Patrick's Cathedral. And yeah, people in the chat saying we need some like welder goggles or some, you know, you don't want to look directly into the light of the laser because probably be bad. Although I don't know with the power of this one if that's necessarily an issue, but I guess we can ask Tyson once he gets back on. But yeah, safety first, absolutely. Whenever you're dealing with high-powered lasers of any sort. Oh, there he goes. I'm like delayed on seeing the stream, so I can see he just picked up the safety goggles a little bit ago. So smart, good to have. Just getting all those punched out pieces and hey, a little cleanup afterwards. A lot easier than cutting it with a X-Acto knife. So that's pretty sweet. Of course, if any of you guys want to use this laser cutter, just let Tyson know. He'll send it off to your house and you can borrow it. So just drop your info in the chat. I'm just kidding, of course. Don't do that. But it's cool to have this kind of thing at home so you can experiment with it and play with it and make this kind of stuff. So, and it's not all cathedrals. You can laser cut pretty much anything you can model in SketchUp. So, a bunch of fun. I know online there's a bunch of plans and stuff pre-made, but it's kind of fun to make your own, right?
I love making something original. Let's see. So yeah, here we go. Let's see, where's some of the details. I don't know if you could like that tiny little bit that we even embiggened a little bit is so barely there.
Oh yeah.
But okay, fits like a glove. Right there. I've got nothing to hold it in, but it fits right there. That's exactly what we wanted.
Beautiful.
Stunning success.
Tyson, Tyson, Tyson.
Oh.
I can hear the chat from here cheering for you.
Let's see if we can push this a little farther. But we did get we made it happen. Okay, so
Push it real good.
I am going to I'm gonna send that just the cut again, but while that's cutting, we're gonna keep working on something else.
I like it.
But it'd be pretty easy to do. So we still have this up here, and I was telling Matt before.
Comments in the chat.
Oh, nice.
Saying, we're not worthy. They're saying superb job, looks great, nice one.
Oh, thanks. This is so fun. It is fun when it's something real, and you know, SketchUp and the laser are doing all the work. Yay!
Hey, don't sell yourself short. You did some of the work.
All right,
like
just
5%.
a little bit. Okay, 5%, maybe 4.5%.
22.5.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, that's the one we want. Let's print it. Okay, so I'm gonna get this cooking.
Cook it up, sizzle it up.
Yeah. Okay, so while that's cooking, when I looked at this picture originally, it had like all of this tiny little detail that is too small, but I thought that's really interesting. What could we do that would kind of create this illusion of something, back there that's like detailed? And that's where I came across our friend, again, Tutorials Up, and he had shown some version where he used this online Voronoi generator, and then he went on and did some other stuff with it. So I want to use this, and this is pretty cool. It's just Voronoi-editor.web.app. This thing, I didn't know what these were before this, but I could just say, let's make this higher. Oops, I made it 1000. So I can kind of create any shape here, and then I can turn up the number of what it refers to as seeds.
Oh, that's cool.
And then you can actually grab any one of these and be like, I don't like that one right there. I'm going to move it, or I'm going to reshape these. Let me bigify this. So you can actually come in here and have a lot of fun with playing with the different settings. We could generate edges instead of the cells. You can show what the seeds are. And the space between the cells, because that's what we'll be cutting or what will be left, we can change that too, so we can turn that up a bit. So I have an idea that I want to cut out, some pattern that we can stick back here, and then, put a kind of a light behind it and create this cool effect. That's my hope. We're going to see if it works. I don't actually know how well it's going to work, but that's what we're going to try. So let's turn this back up to something like I said, 300, 400.
It's so cool how many freely available things there are online. This just baffles my mind. You can just go to a website and just generate this so easily.
It is so cool. It's amazing. And I'm always amazed, wow, there are really smart people out there doing some really fun things.
Yeah.
This looks fine. If I want, I could hit generate and it'll create a random, different version for me. If I wanted to do just the window, maybe I would change this so it was just a square, but my thought is to do kind of this whole background, and that way we'll get some of this stuff too. So that's something like this. I'm going to export an SVG. I think this will work. So
Peter on Facebook is saying it looks like a giraffe spots.
It does.
You get that.
So this is, I've done a few of these. This is number 3, export number 3. Okay. Now, now we have to get an SVG into SketchUp. SketchUp natively won't read that type of file. In Tutorial Up's video, he actually has a couple videos on SVGs, and there is 1 or 2 importers out there. Let me go back to the version we can see. So I haven't I tried this a while back in SketchUp 2022, and I have an SVG importer in 2022, so I'm going to open that to import this, and then I'll just copy it over. So direct importer into SketchUp. If you don't have that, actually our friend Dave Richards on Fine Woodworking recently did a video and a story talking about He just takes the SVG to Illustrator or Inkscape and exports it as a DXF from there. There are online, we covered this last time we talked a little bit about laser cutting, that you can take images, just JPEGs, and if there's strong contrast, there are online image converters that will create DXFs. So there's several ways that you could get something like this into SketchUp. Let's just see, hopefully I can bring it in directly here. So if I go File, nope, I'm going to go to Extensions, Import SVG File. Again, this is a SVG importer. That's the one we just created. Open, crossed fingers. There it is.
Nice.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I'm going to copy this from 2022 and plug it right up in here in 2023. Copy
all up in there.
All up in there. So what we need is this outline is what we're going to use. So let's add to our graveyard, as I am prone to do. I'll make this a component.
Every SketchUp live stream with you is like a Halloween spooky stream because you have a graveyard just off screen.
Oh yeah. The
shape actually kind of looks like a tombstone too, so it's
oh yeah,
all in there.
So it's all kinds of awesome. Okay. Oops. So we as you can guess where I'm headed, we just need to sort of merge these shapes together and use this as a laser cut file. So I'm going to grab these. Actually, I'm going to copy this Voronoi file and I'm going to paste it into here, and then when I'm inside there, I'm going to ungroup. And I think this thing, I think I have to ungroup it several times. You can see that it's got every one of these as different groups. However that importer works. But if I ungroup a couple times, then it should. And what's nice is that SketchUp is really good about recognizing edges. I think in older versions this may not have worked so well, but it's gotten better. And so I can just copy that. Let's see. I'm going to copy that, and then I'm just going to undo a couple times.
Hey, that works.
And now here I am with my component. And if I paste this, what I copied, so now I have just those edges. I'm going to group that really quickly so that I can find. Now I have to find where to place it, but should be able to do that. Somewhere here I'll find. This works better if I had a circle and I could find that center point, but in this case I'm just sort of just
yeah, just move it into position. We had a question about the website that you used for the shapes. What was that one again?
It's called Voronoi.
Voronoi?
Voronoi. voronoi-editor.web.app.
Cool. Nice. Thanks. Thanks for watching, Ove. Have a good weekend as well.
There.
Oh, cool. Thanks. Yeah, there you go, Barry. There's the URL. Cyanide saying that there's a plugin, a free plugin to make those kind of patterns. I don't know if that means directly in SketchUp.
Directly in SketchUp? Cool. Very cool.
This obviously reminiscent of stained glass. You seem like a kind of a crafty guy. Have you ever dove into the stained glass thing and made your own stained glass?
You know, that's one that I haven't tried yet. It does seem like something along that would be interesting for that world.
Yeah.
I made a mistake. This will still work for us. Ideally, I should have offset this outer edge in and given myself a border. That would give me something better to work with. But as we're sort of nearing the end of our time here, I'm going to just cut it, and I think it'll still do what we need. But yeah, I should have. So I'm going to take this.
Sorry.
Nope, that's appropriate.
It's in the sound effects library. I have to how to do it.
So we're going to cut this out. Again, my preference would be if I had created a border on the outline of this. This should, for what we're going to do, in theory, still work. So let's see if I learned anything, and this time I create a new scene before I change. All right. So yeah, good. I can change the style here if I want. That will do it. So if I go over to layout, oh yes, update this. Come on. Don't break now.
We made it so far. I guess one thing with SVG importers that you probably don't have options of how much like detail to bring in or not. It just kind of brings everything in, you know?
Yeah, I don't know if any of the other options out there. It brings in quite a it brings it in pretty detailed though.
Yeah.
Like, I have to zoom in a lot to start seeing the segments. So it seems to bring it in pretty well. Okay, I turned that raster so that I could, because as vector it was working real slow, as we know. So remember to turn that back to vector, and then it's got a lot of lines to render, and then I'll export that out. It's PDF.
Nice.
Sweet. All right, I need to go load up a different page over here in the laser. So is that still showing? All right, ready?
Cool. Sounds good. Yeah, and I kind of mentioned this earlier, but if you either liked the stuff we're doing this stream, or if you have other ideas that you'd like to see us either model or other workflows and stuff that you'd like us to show on SketchUp Live in future streams, drop it in the chat, and then we keep a list of all the suggestions, and then pick for future streams based off those. So let us know what you'd like to see. Lenny saying every time he sees a beach ball, he remembers that he should have saved. Definitely in that same boat. I'm like, I always try to sneak a quick save in there, like, oh, maybe if I hit it fast enough, it'll save. But in this case, didn't need it. No crashes involved. That's saved as well before, so good call. Cyanide. NASA has made it available lots of 3D models of all kinds of things, from various spacecrafts to terrain models of lunar landing sites. It's pretty awesome, and it's free. I've seen those. Yeah, that's awesome. It's cool that they make all that available, and that you could make your own. Maybe next week, if anybody wants to see, we could do a space theme. We could recreate the moon landing. Fake the moon landing in SketchUp.
That's fun.
Maybe. Oh yeah, Lenny, thanks for the Pikes Peak Visitor Center in Tram. Yep, we have that on the list. So, thanks.
I like that suggestion.
Yeah, it's a good one. And should use this time also to say that next week, if you're still tuned in, next week same time, same place. We'll be Aaron will be in the hot seat, and we'll be modeling a steam engine, machine parts modeling and assembly, a bunch of different parts of a steam engine. So if you're familiar with SketchUp Live, we used to do machine parts modeling just once a week. That was during the height of the pandemic, but I know that was a popular topic, and so we're bringing it back for next week. So if you want to see some precision modeling to very tight specifications, steam engine next week. Tune in, don't miss it.
I saw Tyson is using a Dyson. That's true. yes, that's true. All right. Okay. You know what? I'm gonna check. Oh, see how this. I forgot to weld it, and it might be okay, but I'm gonna resend this. I think the Glowforge. I think they've gotten smarter at interpolating paths, but again, I've had issues in the past where like it'll do that segment, and then it'll come down and do this little segment, and then this one, and if you weld stuff, it just works better. So now each one of these should be welded and cut out whole. That should work a lot better. And there's our whole entire exterior path. So save this back to layout. Save. Update the model reference. Beach ball.
We got a question here on YouTube about did you use SketchUp to make 3D models for 3D print? I assume they're not talking about this particular stream, but have you done videos about 3D printing in the past?
I don't remember that I have.
On YouTube we have.
Yeah, we have. I don't remember for live that I have. I think, has Aaron done?
Yeah, I think I recall like a cleaning up for 3D printing, like downloading models from 3D Warehouse and getting them prepped for 3D prints. So yeah, check out just on our YouTube. You can just search on our YouTube channel for 3D printing, and there should be a bunch of videos that come up. But in this particular case, it's just laser cutting.
Yeah.
But yeah, perhaps we could do a similar stream with 3D. I know 3D prints take a little bit longer typically than the laser cut stuff, but seems like people have been enjoying seeing the the real world creation.
Yeah, I mean, and absolutely, everybody knows. I hope they know. Yeah, there's no way we can do a detailed 3D print real time. They take hours and hours to finish. We can do a very simple one and have it running in the background. But
we could do like, we start a 3D print that's going to take 2 hours at the beginning, and then you as the modeler have to race the 3D printer. It's like man versus machine, who's better.
Could do that. But it's a good time to plug. Aaron just wrote a book about 3D printing with SketchUp. So if that's a topic you're interested in, he's got a fresh, new, smells, tastes beautiful book. I'm going to start this print.
Right. Yeah, it's 3D printing for SketchUp, I believe is the name of it. Aaron, I'm sure, can check me if I'm wrong, but you can find it on Amazon. And it's out now. So, yeah, order a copy right on there. And you get all the information you need on how to create the best and brightest of 3D prints using SketchUp. So,
there are faster. I don't know if you've seen, Matt. There's some new printers out there, and they just buzz around, and you're like, there's no way you can melt and lay down plastic that fast. But there are some ones that cook a model out in 2 or 3 times faster. It's impressive.
Oh wow, cool. Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. This print, if you can see here, is going to take about another 8 minutes, and that'll take us about to our time when we'd like to wrap up here in the afternoon. And so then we'll be able to put it all together, hopefully cross that finish line. But any other questions or specifics? Anybody, while this is printing, if there's any other questions about anything that we touched on today? Or just suggestions, or just people chime in what you're doing for the weekend?
Yeah, what's on the docket? Any questions or any plans? I know what I'm doing, is I'm going on spring break next week. So going to some nice beach vacation. I'm looking forward to that for sure. So beat that, people in the chat. No way you can beat a beach vacation for what you're doing over the weekend. But just kidding. I'm sure whatever you're doing is a lot of fun as well.
Nah, Matt, you win. That's awesome. Well deserved. Matt's going to be off for a week and getting nice and tanned or nice and sunburned. But either way, well deserved.
Oh yeah, thanks. What about you? You got anything on the docket? Anything planned for the weekend?
I have for several months been working on a big old tall dresser that's going to go right here on the side of my desk, where I'm going to put a bunch of crap that's off screen here. And so I am close enough that I dare say I might finish that finally. I thought I was close before, but I've just got the drawer fronts left on it, and several of them are already stained. So just some staining and attaching drawer fronts, and hopefully that gets done, because that project, like many projects, is way, like, the fun of it is gone. I just want it out of the way.
Yeah. Well, it'd be cool to see it come together. But yeah, I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that, where, you know, something that you plan to do gets kind of creeps into, you know, taking up more and more of your time. But you want it done right. So
it's true. So that'll be nice. Other than that, should be just enjoying some sun.
Nice.
Ah, sorry, Keggy. Still got that surgery kicking you, but hopefully soon. Water jet. I would love to try a water jet. I have never tried one. but I imagine you could do something very similar.
Cool. Yeah, I wonder what the resolution is like on a water jet. Like how tiny of little details you can make with that.
Yeah. I assume quite small, but water jet would be great. That's where we could actually go. If Aaron models some metal parts, water jet would be what we could use to cut them out.
Oh wow, that cuts metal too. I have no idea about what a water jet is.
Yeah, it's highly pressurized water in a very precise stream with an aggregate, a very very fine aggregate, and yeah, you can actually cut metal very precisely. So.
Oh, wild!
It's impressive. Let's get a water jet. That'd be awesome. Oh, my file here, if my size was bigger, this would still work, but this is too thin. Oh well.
Flew too close to the sun. Got too,
Flew too close to the sun.
Too confident.
That's right.
Oh, RT Cool saying his makerspace has a water jet and you can cut stone countertop with it. Okay, cool.
Oh.
Now I'm interested. I'm going to be searching that all after this because I was not familiar, so that's cool.
Yeah.
You learned a lot about SketchUp. I learned a lot about lasers, and
I've learned a lot
about water jets today too. So it's always the goal of these streams is to learn something, and I know I certainly did today.
Nice. I didn't get fully to it. I thought it might be interesting to take this and to finish both the front and back, and then just to and then to encase it in cardstock or some sort of rice paper or something, and then just illuminate it with a light from the center. Would be pretty interesting. Didn't get that far. Oh well.
High hopes. After the dresser, then you can get to this one.
This one, I was talking earlier about how like you can do different colors, and for this here you can see that what I did for the sides of this is that I have cutout path, and then I have these lighter lines which were just scoring paths, which made it easy to bend this. This cardstock is fairly thick. It would bend anyway, but it made it, I actually cut these to match these segments of the art. I don't think that mattered, but it's possible.
Cool.
So, fun stuff. Oh yeah, I appreciate it. You can cut through 1-inch steel with just your bare fists, but your accuracy is not quite as good as a water jet. Yeah, I get that.
It's always a trade-off.
Yeah.
Between power and precision.
Yeah, Matt, have you ever heard of the YouTube channel This Old Tony?
No.
He is a machinist. He never shows his face, so you only see his hands.
Okay.
He's got the driest sense of humor, and it's hilarious. So he'll walk through a project, and he is just the funniest. So, YouTube recommendation if you just want to kick back and have some laughs with a topic that you may not. You'll find it fascinating, irregardless, even if you never ever intend to do any machining. He's funny.
Oh, cool. This Old Tony. Yeah, I'll check him out.
This Old Tony. How are we doing?
So,
we got? Oh, almost done.
How are you gonna like pop this out? Like, how does it fit in? Or it's being used as like a stencil kind of for the light.
It should be that the full exterior, yeah, it's just using it as a stencil. So, my thought originally, and this is where you hope to get farther than you might, is I cut this out just in case, separate circle. I could have left this white backing as one, but in case we wanted to separate these somehow. Let me go pull this off. Hopefully it pulls off. And then I can sit it behind here and put a light behind it, and hopefully that will all work. Let's see how it pulls off.
Oh, it's got to.
I certainly hope so.
It's going to be a drum roll moment for sure. I'm sure I got a drum roll in here somewhere. Just like quietly watching over here. Yeah, this is really cool. Popping up very gently.
Okay, let's see how well this works. So that just came off beautifully, and we are going to, actually we need to put this in here, but maybe we'll put it in from the front. So let's put this on here. This fits in. That. Then pop that in. Okay, well, it's a kind of a tight fit, but I can't do this. I can't hold it and where's my third hand?
Need more. This is why we need an in-person co-host, because then I could assist you with holding this thing up.
Yeah. All right. I think that will do the effect. So if we do that, and then I grab, let's say, I can't see this. You'll have to tell me if it comes through.
I'm like watching it from on the stream with everybody else, so I have to wait for the delay to kick in before I can see it.
So I don't know. I think it's working.
Ooh. Hey. Beautiful.
All right. That's the idea.
Look at that.
Stunning success.
Nice work.
So, woohoo!
That's cool. That's awesome. Yeah.
We got across the finish line. That's what I wanted to try. All right. Woohoo!
Love it. Oh my gosh.
Did it come through?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It came through. See the light coming through, all the stained glass details and everything. Yeah. It was awesome.
Sweet. Oh, okay. Well, thanks everybody. That was fun. I think that let's call it. I'll show that again just one more time, and then we'll we'll bail out of here. But yeah, Matt, good times, buddy. Thank you for helping, and thanks everybody for joining us.
Yeah, thank you. It was an awesome stream, and thanks for bringing the idea to mix it up and get some real life laser cut stuff on the stream. So this is awesome. Yeah, nice work, man.
Yeah, this will be worth playing around with some more, seeing, trying some different things. But that's fun.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that was awesome. A lot of great feedback from folks. Yeah, and a lot of new people too.
Oh, cool.
So that was cool to see new names in the chat for sure.
That is fun. Well, hey everybody, have such a great weekend. Thank you again. It's always great that you join us, hang out with us, and we appreciate it. Matt, I wish you much suntan, less sunburn, but go get some sun.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm looking forward to sizzling a little bit, and then probably just taking it easy. But yeah, no, it'll be great. So yeah, thanks. And it was an honor to have a nice send-off as a stream such as this. So thanks for another great stream, another great lot of chock full of tips and fun. So thank you.
Very cool. All right, thanks y'all. Cheers.